Welcome to American Football in Finland. We've gone video. So the voice in your ears and the face on your screen right here, perfect purpose, with my co-host, Coach Q and Chris Green. And then today we have a special guest host, the one, the only, Zach Wright, defensive back from the Porvoo Butchers. Everybody, welcome to the show, man. What's going on?
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you.
As you can tell, we don't really practice the introduction. We just kind of do it. So that's how that went. Zach, congratulations. You guys are in the Maple Bowl.
Yes, thank you.
I think this is your first season in Europe, right?
My first full season, yeah. I played like 4 games at the end of the season in GFL last year.
Straubing. Was it Straubing, I think? I'm trying to remember.
Straubing,
right? Yeah. Straubing, okay, yeah. That's what I remembered as I said it. But first time in Finland, so Maple Bowl, I'm not sure if you understand how significant it is what you've done in your first season in Finland. So I'm going to break it down a little bit before we get into it. Butchers haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah, so I keep hearing.
You touched down and now they're there. So, that's a direct correlation by my accounts. You bring in Zach Wright and you might be in the Maple Bowl. It's just a really great honor and great privilege that you guys have been able to make it this far and have such a great season. So we're going to ask you a couple questions about the upcoming game, as well as maybe a little bit about the season you guys had so far. And I'll let Coach Q start it off.
All right. Hey, thanks again for coming in and talking to us, Zach. My first question is, I don't know if you watched the Colorado game. I know it's kind of sounding a little off, but after the game, Shedeur Sanders said, "I don't fear names." And a lot of people felt some kind of way about that. So what I'm going to ask you is, are you the type of person that before the game, like we all know who you have to play, but this is your interview, so I'm not going to mention his name. But we all know who I'm talking about. There's a lot that comes with that, as you know. But are you the type of person who actually pays attention to the opponent? Like, I've seen how you play safety. I know you read quarterbacks. You're not just one of those guys out there backing up, looking at the quarterback dead in his eyes. You reading the field. With being that who you have to play, is there any sense of like you feeling like I really have to start this game off with a certain intensity for the rest of the guys to come behind me? Because you know the kind of load that person is going to carry for this game. Everybody knows this already. So you're on the defensive side. You're on the defensive side of the ball. So, like, I mean, it's different when it's offense, because offense can run plays against whoever. You know what I mean? But defensively, you know, like, this is who I have to deal with all game. Do you have a extra, I won't say motivation, but is you're the type of person that says, all right, I know that I have to definitely be involved in this in order for us to have a chance?
Yeah, of course. For my experience, motivating my teammates, like, and being in Finland and knowing the type of people that they are, like, motivation is their number one key, I feel like, to get them to get playing. And one way of showing that by being a leader is showing it through your play and not only your words. And definitely going to have to come out and, show them that, I mean business, and this is how we're going to play, and then and they'll follow along with me, And then at the beginning of a game too, I'll give them some words of wisdom, tell them that we trust in each other, trust, and it's just a game, They bleed just like we do. So that's, at the end of the day, is how, I look at it. And coming here, I've been put under the coaching spotlight a lot, in this team, which I've never done either. And this is my first time experiencing this, and it's been a great honor and great, like, way to boost my game. I feel like even more, because now not only do they count on me to play well, they count on me to coach my other teammates up as well, bring them along with me. And I think that's kind of been what happens here and there each week. One week we have a great game, and then the next week we'll be like, we allowed up so many yards, and it's just like it depends on, like, I feel like how well I'm able to prepare them and to mentally prepare them and physically prepare them.
Yeah, and this is the second part of my question was going to that. Being that this is your first year in the Maple League, I think we all can attest because we all played in Finland, but we really come here as coach players anyway. But I was going to ask you how much, like, coming from states and any other countries, it's hard to do both. It really is hard to do both, and it's hard to be effective at both. But we always find ways to make sure that we can do the best that we can. A lot of people, including myself, have critiqued your defense over the season, but yet you found ways to finish games and you found ways to win. When you're out there and you're out there on the field with these guys and you're coaching these guys, does it make you feel like you're more of a coach than a player sometimes, where you're just like, I'm on the field, I'm playing, but I have to make sure he knows we're here, we're doing this, that type of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I think it goes both ways. Sometimes I find myself playing more than coaching, and that tends to hurt us in that way. And then sometimes, I'll find myself coaching more than playing, and it kind of, it flips. And I'm trying to find a happy balance. And I think I'm like, as the season progressed, I'm finding that balance. But I definitely have found myself like playing more, and then that would hurt us all around. And then, because when you get in the long drive, because we find ourselves in long drives often, and you start forgetting about like, I got to get this guy, this set of DBs in, and or this matchup, and every play, like, it doesn't show, but every DB is always looking at me, like, at the beginning of every play, and I have to tell them I'm telling them what coverage we're in and where to line up and who to go against, and it gets tough sometimes too, but it definitely, I enjoy it at the same time.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stay quiet because I was gonna say something, but I'll be nice today. Chris, go ahead. I'm gonna get after Chris. I'm gonna let you know, Zach.
All right.
So
for sure.
My first part of my question is a bit of a closed question. Is this the first national championship game you gonna play in, or have you played one before? Okay, so this occasion, how much does it mean to you as a player and an individual to play in something like this if you haven't not been to one before?
Oh, tremendously huge. I've been chasing this feeling since I've started playing football. I got close once my senior year in high school. We fell just short of the championship game. College we never really were that great of a team to make it that far at all. And then last year being a team that we were really good, and then we got hit with the injury bug and we shot straight down and didn't finish how we wanted to. And then to finally, get to this where I've wanted to be my whole life, and something I've never been able to say, where it's in America or somewhere in Europe or anywhere at all, is to say I'm a national champion or a champion in that matter at all. So it's definitely a great feeling, and I'm super excited.
I feel you. I'm still chasing that because
I was just about to say that. I was about to say Chris is in the same situation.
I played in 2 national championship games, right? And one of them was in Switzerland. One of them was in Finland with Purvis. I was on the same team as Purvis. We were on the Wolverines together. Both of those games didn't go how we wanted them to go. So it resonates with me, exactly the same feeling. So I completely feel you.
Hold on. We're doing it, and we're gonna do this. He's gonna throw me under the bus and say I was on the team, Zach. I want to just put this on record. I was on the team, but I didn't lose. The team lost. Yes, I was that type of player. You asked for what happened in the game. Purvis got his. I went for a bill and some change in yards and did what I could. I couldn't play defense as well. We got beat in the game where we scored 48 points and we lost.
Oh, jeez.
The other team scored 70.
Yeah.
In a championship game?
So that's why I didn't lose. Like I did what I could.
But that used to be Finland though. Like when we first came to Finland, when I first came to Finland, this is back in 2008, 2009. Like every game that I went to that was a Maple Leaf game was like that, 60-54. Like it was all games, which is why the Butchers at that time were like killing everybody because they had the best imports, they had the best local talent in Finland. So they were just beating everybody. Like every year they were just beating everybody. And then all of a sudden, we had to change the ties. But just talking about what y'all was saying, I'm not chasing anymore. I've had a few in my life.
He's won a Maple Bowl.
I won a Maple Bowl. But I will say this for you, it's an experience. That's something that I tell teams that I've been a part of in the championship game. I tell them like it's people in the States that have never been this close. They've never been here. So you have to take these games serious. You have to give it all. When you walk off that field, everybody should be dead tired that's playing. And I think I'm glad Chris asked that because that's like a great question because there is a chance that you may never get this chance again in your life. And you got to take advantage of it definitely now. You know what I mean? So that's some extra motivation to know that you never been there. So now I can see why you play the way you play and you're available. And I always say imports are not in Finland or not in Germany or not anywhere to be average players. I'm supposed to be able to turn the film on every game and see you have some type of impact. And so far this season, that's something that I have seen from you. So I commend you for that because that's what imports are brought in to do. And now, you guys are in the Maple Bowl. So it don't matter if y'all gave up 400 yards in a few games. Defensively, it don't even matter now. It don't matter now.
It does.
It matters.
It does.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it matters.
It does. But
hey, you said it first. A W is a W, right?
Right.
You said it first.
Right.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I think Chris had another question. That's why I wanted to let it ride.
Go ahead. I was about to
Chris,
say
you had another question.
No, that was it. That was it.
Oh.
That was the completion of it.
Oh, I thought you had another one. My bad. Go ahead. Continue,
No, that was
Q.
the
My
completion.
bad. Go ahead, Q, because I'm coming. Go ahead.
No, but I was just saying I was jokingly saying so you can't go to the championship without having a championship defense. That's what I was about to say. And it's not saying that they're not on that level, but yeah, you have had games where you gave up a lot of yards on defense, and everybody knows. I mean, even if you ask boxers, Tyson Fury, if Tyson Fury fought Brandon Wilder again, do you think Tyson Fury will win? And a lot of people say yeah. And it goes to football because you can play a team two times and never beat them, and then that third time is you can. You know what I mean? So here we are, championship game, Butchers, against Crocs, and you guys are. I don't know who they have favorite right now. I think it's the Crocs though, but at the same time we've seen you guys, pull off games. The Roosters game, we've seen you with the pick sixes. Like we've seen stuff happen in championship games. It'll definitely be like that too. So I'm just basically saluting you for the season that you had, though.
Appreciate it.
Okay, here I come, Zach. Oh, I'll let you go, but I'm gonna come. You just let me know. All right, I'm gonna throw this out here. First of all, okay. First things first. There's nobody on this video that's gonna get me to say that the Butchers defense is good as a whole. I'm not ever gonna say it. It is what it is. It's not great. Giving up 400, almost 500 yards in any amount of weeks total is ridiculous. But what really drives it home about how this is still a Maple Bowl team and even definitely a contender, you have a chance to win this game, is that despite the defense not being great as a whole at times, you kind of explained it when you were telling us about your position on the team of having to both coach and play. If we go back to looking at how the Butchers defense plays, we've said it here, a W is a W. You can give up all the yards in the world as long as you get the W. Most teams can't have one without the other. Even if you look at, college and NFL, most teams that give up a lot of yards also give up a lot of points. The teams that don't give up a lot of points have playmakers at key positions. And Zach Wright is the playmaker for the Porvoo Butchers defense. And if you watch a lot of the games that you played, and again, this is me just telling you that I've seen the games, when you're more active and making those game-changing plays, that's when your defense looks better than what it actually is. But when you're not as instrumental to the defense, that's when the defense seems to actually play a little bit better as a group. And I think that has a lot to do with your role. When you're coaching instead of making plays, you're making a lot of other players better than they previously would have been. But then also there's times when if you're making the plays, if you make the right plays, I mean, again, pick sixes, strip tackles, all that happens, and it puts your team in a better position. And it just comes to show that at certain times of the games, at different times of the season as well, if you find the right balance, you have a really good defense overall. It's super interesting that we even say that the Butchers defense isn't that good, because whenever we talk about the players individually on your team, we have nothing but great things to say. Your D-line is good. You have two really good linebackers in Nico Paninen and Brandon Wellington. You and Nico Royko are great safeties. Cornerback position, there's always been an issue, but you brought in an import who's, better than what you had, and we can appreciate that. So when you look at that as a whole, you're like, okay, they have a good defense. But then on the field, like you said, sometimes things just don't go your way. Sometimes people make a bad read or don't do their job, or someone gives up a big play and the yards come. But again, when you need that big play or you need something to happen, you have the personnel to make it. I've seen you guys make those plays. So it's really a credit to you and what your defense has done as a whole to get this far. Because obviously y'all had growing pains. But over the last couple of weeks, we've seen you kind of gel together. And again, as a whole, I can't go against the facts. The facts are you're giving up way too many yards. But with you on the field, I find it very interesting that the question I want to ask you is that, are you telepathic? Do you read minds? Because whenever I see
the best question I ever heard you ask.
Whenever this dude gets interceptions, I swear there's no reaction time. Like the quarterback starts to throw, and he is there. If you watch a lot of people who get interceptions playing safety, a lot of time it's guys who just happen to be, in the area, or it's an overthrown ball. And I think you had a couple like that this year, but the majority of your interceptions have been you breaking on a ball that you shouldn't be breaking on yet. Like you're breaking on balls that, how did you know it was going to be there at that time?
He watches film. He watches film. He watches film. I can tell. He watches film.
He's telepathic. He's got to know everything. He got telekinesis or something. He's saying, he's talking to the quarterback saying, throw left so I can go left, and then going left and grabbing the ball. But I guess that really is my question, is how do you go about preparing to be at that level of awareness on the field? Like your awareness on Madden is like 110. It's over 99. Like how do you get to that level? I really would like to pick your brain on that.
Yeah, of course. I think it has a lot of things, honestly. I've obviously, but my first and foremost, I would say it was probably be watching a lot of film. I do watch a lot of film, and recognize formations and then what plays they run out of those formations. And I did watch a lot of film for those games. And then I'd say another help probably would be I played 4 years in high school. I played at quarterback. And so I kind of, have a little bit of a quarterback mentality as well as behind there. And the third one might be a little bit telepathic, because even in college, you can ask all my teammates, every practice I'd get at least, 1 or 2 picks in team one-on-ones, something like that. Those majority is just a lot watching film and having that QB knowledge also in the back of my head.
Hey, I always know the answer, man. You can watch you can watch safeties, because I used to play safety. You can watch safeties and tell who watch film, because you can call it out. You can see it. I see quarterbacks that, even your quarterback, he does it sometimes. He stares his receivers down. If you watch film and you see tendencies like that, where like Senadino's, like he stares receivers down. They don't break those habits like overnight. You know what I mean? You're just those type of quarterbacks. Sometimes they scan the field and you have to play games at safety, but I can tell he's one of those people who literally like whatever I see in front of me, that's what's happening. I'm breaking on it. And I always say, hey, if you gamble, just make sure you win. If you play DB for me, I don't mind you gambling. Just make sure you win. You know, and you obviously are a gambling man, and you probably will win a lot of money. So you probably should think about that because you take some good chances and they pay off. You know,
these
That's
guys
actually
out here
funny.
playing checkers.
Horrible at gambling.
Zach out here playing chess. They playing checkers. That's what that
checkers,
is.
yeah,
You can't be playing checkers and chess. Chris, did you have anything else for him? I'm good. That's the only question I wanted to know. Is it telepathic?
I'm good. I think I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, did we even talk about the game? We just talked about you, Zach, man. I mean, we just talked about.
We kind of did.
We kind of talked about the game. I mean, we got into it. Okay. Yeah, let me give you one more like game Maple Bowl question. Okay, obviously we talked about the elephant in the room. I guess the name we're not going to talk about. But let's talk about what else the Crocodiles do on their offense. They have a passing offense. Just looking at statistics the last couple of weeks, Zach Whitehead has put up about 250, 300 yards passing in the last couple of games. He's been able to move the ball to various receivers on their team. And as we mentioned previously, you know, the cornerback position specifically, but even pass coverage as a total has been an area of, you know, boom or bust for the Butchers, if I could say it that way. The bust would be the few plays that have been given up to go the other way and get a lot of yards. The bust would obviously be, you know, you having 9 interceptions on the season, and that's crazy. But that's where I would see the biggest matchup in this game. Is I think that when it comes to, okay, the Crocodiles are going to run. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. You're going to have to stop that. But how do you think that your defense is going to do when they get put in those situations where you, Nico Royko, I can't remember number one's name. I think it's Ajeti. Is it Ajeti?
Jordy is his first name.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Jordy and Topi. Topi's going to play corner, right?
Yeah.
How are you guys going to respond to going up against the Crocodiles receiving core and quarterback and Zach Whitehead? Like, what do you think that you guys are going to be able to do well against that group? And it's a good group. You have Yane Sarkala, Yoel Sarkala, Oaklandvist, and there's a kid named Yarhu. I can't remember his first name, but it's number 9. I know who they are on the field. I don't know all their names, but they have a good receiving core, and they're in sync with their quarterback. They have a very established passing, attack, and game plan that works, and they've had success. What do you think you guys are going to be able to do in those matchups? Because it's going to come down to more one-on-one matchups than general coverage.
Yeah. Well, what it comes down to, the Crocs are a very well-coached team with great players, and what they do is they pick on defenses by showing that they don't have focus, or they don't have what's the word I'm looking for? They try to pick on their lack of focus and on their plays, so misdirection plays. Yeah, discipline. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. They pick on defense's discipline, and a lot of teams don't have great discipline in this league for sure, and it shows. And that's what we've been focusing on this week on as a DB group, is by making sure we're focused a whole time, discipline. You know, let's worry about, like, if the running game gets to us, we'll let it get to us. You know, we'll deal with when it gets there. But we got to keep our eyes on our coverage at all times, and keep our eyes on our receivers, because they're very good at taking advantage of bad discipline on defenses.
Okay, that's all I really need to hear. You guys have anything else for him, or we can let this man get out of here? I know we took up a little bit more of your time than expected, but it was a good time. I feel like we had a good time.
I got one last question.
I got you. Yep.
Fourth and 1, goal line for the game.
On the goal line,
you or Powell? Who's winning?
Me or Powell? You say his name.
You said his name. You are number 15. That's
you
what
are number
it's gonna say.
15 for the
Man.
Maple Bowl. 4th and 1. Who's winning?
Don't get me wrong. This guy's he's a big dude and he's a great runner and he deserves all the respect he's got. But I'm always gonna put me first. And if we have to meet there, I'm gonna put my money on me. No disrespect to him, of course, because he runs over people like no other. But I'm not gonna just let that happen. But I would love to if that game came down to it. I would definitely love it to end that way for sure.
We're gonna have to cut that and take off the no disrespect part so we can go viral online. Have to cut it off right there. The clip is like you and Paul, and then it just goes to me all day, and then the clip cuts off. That's it. You have to do that, right?
No, you're gonna cut off no disrespect and just keep disrespect and then
keep disrespect. Just cut it off and no. Like disrespect intended. I would win every time. No, but Zach, we appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time today. It was great talking to you. Looks like you're ready for this game. I know it's a couple days away, but we do want to wish you luck in this year's Maple Bowl and appreciate you coming by, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a great time. Appreciate you guys.